The following topic is sponsored by One Uniphone, SIM card and phone rentals for the USA, Israel, and Europe.
Next Kina Yud Aleph, page 56. This Kina speaks about Yoshio HaMelech. Rashi in Divrei Hayomim says that it is a chiyuv to say this Kina on Tisha B'Av. It's a takana from Nevi'im Rishonim, Nevi'im Achronim. What happened to Yoshiyahu? Yoshiyahu was a tzaddik. His father was a Rasha. His grandfather was a Rasha. He made a tshuva movement in Klal Yisrael, sent out soldiers to see to it that they eradicated the Avodah Zarah. But the people fooled him. They made their Avodah Zarah on double doors, half on one door, half on the other door. So when the soldiers came in, they opened the doors, they didn't see any Avodah Zarah. When they left and the doors closed, again the Avodah Zarah was connected. Paro Necho asked Yoshio to permit him to let his armies go through Eretz Yisrael to fight Ashur. And Yoshio said, nothing doing. We have reached a level in the Chukosai Telechu, and we have a promise, V'cherev lo savra b'artzachem. Even cherev shosholom, even a cherev that is not going to harm Klal Yisrael, but go fight someone else, we're not allowed to let you through. Yirmiyahu Novi told him he's making a mistake. The people are not on that madrega. They fooled him. And he should let them go. And Yoshio said, I can read a pasuk chumash just as good as you. And it says here, V'cherev lo savra b'artzachem, nothing doing. And Paro was incensed, and he told his archers he has no bone to pick with the Jewish people, only with the king. They should make him a target of their arrows, which they did. And they filled him like a sieve. And in his last breath, Yirmiyahu went on the battlefield to hear what he was saying. And he said, Tzadik hu Hashem ki piu morisi. He was Mekabel, Mazdik Alavas Adin. And Yirmiyahu composed the 4th chapter of Eicha as a eulogy, as a hesed for Yoshio HaMelech. Why is this Kina so important? Why, of all the kinnos, this is the one you must say whenever you say kinnos. The Maggid Vilna says that the way that Peretz and Zerach were born shows how Klal Yisrael has to exist. Peretz put out his hand. Zerach put out his hand. Then it went back in. And then Peretz pushed his way out first. Chazal say from Zerach came Nevi'im, and from Peretz came Malachim. That's the way Klal Yisrael has to be. The Navi points the way, and the Melech is poured together, and he does what he has to do according to the direction of the Navi. In Klal Yisrael there's a pecking order. Everybody has to listen to the person above him. The Melech has a Navi to listen to, the Navi has the Rabbanus Shalom to listen to, and so on and so on. And if you keep that pecking order and you listen to who you're supposed to listen to, then the people who are supposed to listen to you will listen to you. Because Yoshiyahu didn't listen to the Navi, and he thought he knew better. So the people who were supposed to listen to the Melech and follow his tshuva campaign didn't listen to him. So therefore, that is a kina. All the tsaros in Klal Yisrael come because we don't realize that there's an authority that you have to listen to. But more than that, this Kina we want to associate with Churban Beitar. What happened in Beitar? Bar Kochba felt that they had reached a level where they already were free from Roman rule. They already were minting their own coins. They had freedom, atzmaut, independence from Rome. But they didn't realize the Beis HaMikdash was still destroyed. There's a spiritual aspect, not just a physical aspect. And they put their main thing in the physical aspect, the melech. The melech is involved with the physical. The Navi is the one who injects the spiritual first to know how to put the physical in place. And that's why Bar Kokhba said, Rabbanu Shalom, we don't need your help. Don't hurt us, don't help us. We can do it without you. And because of that, Beitar was destroyed. They didn't see the pnimius. All they saw was the chitzonius of freedom, the chitzonius of Eretz Yisrael, the chitzonius of Yerushalayim. And therefore, lo isablu, what's there to mourn for? We have a king, Bar Kokhba, right, who people thought, even Rabbi Akiva, that maybe he could be Mashiach. We have independence. We are able to break off the yoke of Rome. What are we missing? They didn't realize the Ikka was missing. The Beis HaMikdash was missing. The Kedusha was missing. That's the Navi's part. When you don't realize that the Melech's part, the Gashmius, has to follow the Ruchnius, then there's something seriously wrong. And that's why it's so important for a person to have a Rav. Because all the physical things in his world, he needs spiritual direction. He has to listen to the person he's supposed to listen to. Asher l'charav. When that doesn't happen, then things are tragic. The Svarim say, Michal Yehuda Lefkowitz said that he lived with his Rebbe even years after the Rebbe was nifter. That's how a person has to be Asher l'charav. He has to live with the Rav. He said when he was a youngster, the Chafetz Chaim came to visit the city where he was learning in. And everybody left the Beis Medrash to see the Chafetz Chaim. And he felt funny to leave an empty Beis Medrash, so he stayed in the Beis Medrash. He never saw the Chafetz Chaim. So somebody told him, you may not have seen the Chafetz Chaim, but you listened to him. And later on, that person came back to report that it wasn't just a Tanchumim Shel Hevel, but it was really true. Because the Chafetz Chaim told someone who didn't come to him that he valued more the fact that he sat and learned than he came to see the Chafetz Chaim. So that made Yehuda Michal Lefkowitz feel tremendously good. That Taka, the Chafetz Chaim himself, paskined like that. The story is told in the Janaska Road camp. They told the inmates that there were two huge pits before them. And they were told by the Nazis, each of you dogs who values his miserable life and wants to cling to it must jump over one of the pits and land on the other side. Those who miss will get what they rightfully deserve. And he made the sound of a machine gun. It was clear to the inmates that they would all end up in the pits. Even at the best of times, it would have been impossible to jump over them. All the more so on the cold, dark night in Janaska. The prisoners standing at the edge of the pits were skeletons, feverish from disease and starvation, exhausted from slave labor and sleepless nights. Though the challenge that had been given them was a matter of life and death, they knew that for the SS and the Ukrainian guards, it was merely another devilish game. Among the thousands of Jews on that field in Janaska was the Rabbi of Bluzhev, Rabbi Yisrael Spira. He was standing with a friend, a free thinker from a large Polish town, whom the rabbi had met in the camp. A deep friendship had developed between the two. Spiro, all our efforts to jump over the pits are in vain. We only entertain the Germans and their collaborators. Let's sit down in the pits and wait for the bullets to end our wretched existence. My friend, said the rabbi as they were walking in the direction of the pits, man must obey the will of God. If it was decreed from heaven that pits be dug and we be commanded to jump, pits will be dug and jump we must. And if God forbid we fail and fall into the pits, we'll reach the world of truth a second later after our attempt. So my friend, we must jump. The rabbi and his friend were nearing the edge of the pits. The pits were rapidly filling up with bodies. The rabbi glanced down at his feet, the swollen feet of a 53-year-old Jew ridden with starvation and disease. He looked at his young friend, a skeleton with burning eyes. As they reached the pit, the rabbi closed his eyes and commanded in a powerful whisper, "We're jumping." When they opened their eyes, they found themselves standing on the other side of the pit. "Spira, we're here, we're alive," the friend repeated over and over again, while warm tears streamed from his eyes. "Spira, for your sake, I'm alive. Indeed, there must be a God in heaven. Tell me, Rebbe, how did you do it?" "I was holding on to my ancestral merit. I was holding on to the coattails of my father and my grandfather and my great-grandfather. A blessed memory," said the rabbi. And his eyes searched the black skies above. "Tell me, my friend, how did you reach the other side of the pit?" "I was holding on to you," replied the rabbi's friend. You hold on to your Rebbe. You hold on to your parents, schus avos, then we have a chance of surviving. When we don't hold on to our rebbeim, and we don't hold on to our schus avos, then we have no chance at all. So this Kina has to do with Churban Beitar, not to mistake and only look at the physical things of the world, but understand that every physical thing needs direction from a spiritual mentor, whether it's a Navi to a Melech, whether it's to a Rebbe, a Rav, to a Talmud, to a Balabos. That is the future of Klal Yisrael. That is the lesson to go against the reason why Beitar was destroyed.